وَإِنَّا لَجَاعِلُونَ مَا عَلَيْهَا صَعِيدًا جُرُزًا. Suwratul-Kahfi, Surah number 18, ayat number 8. This verse is in continuation from the previous verse, verse number 7, closely. And so let's start. Wa and inna, indeed we. La is certainly. Ja'iluna is the plural of ja'il, the fa'il pattern, the doer pattern, the one who does pattern. So it's an ism. It should not be translated as fail, verb. This I've explained. But unlike the last time, we were able to translate it like an ism. Here, if we translate it, we are the makers of whatever is on the earth into barren land. It sounds a bit jittery. It doesn't sound proper in the English language. We are the makers of. So what we have done is, file pattern is also used to represent the present continuous form. So we have not been able to do full justice to the way it is represented, but that is also a valid meaning of the file pattern. So we have used that in this verse. So we are going to make, so that present continuous form is coming about. So we are the makers of whatever is on the earth sounds very jittery. We are going to make. Had we translated we will make, as some translators or scholars have done, then that would have been wrong, because that is a pure verbal translation. So that is what we have tried to do over here. We are certainly going to make. La, certainly. Ja'iluna, we are going to make. We are certainly going to make. Ma, whatever. Alayha, on it. So ala al-ardi in the previous verse, and laha in the previous verse. It is in reference to that, the earth. Whatever alayha, on it, whatever is on it. Sa'idan juruzan. Now, in Arabic, the noun comes first and then the adjective. So, sa'idan is noun, juruzan is adjective. In English, it is the reverse. The adjective comes first and then the noun. It's called mawsuf sifa in Arabic, but leave that aside for now. So, basically, into juruzan barren, sa'idan land. That would be a simple translation. But we have elaborated a little bit, and that is, I'll explain that. So, juruzan, basically the verbal root word means to cut off. So once you cut off whatever the beautifications, the beauties of the world, if you were to cut off, what will the land essentially become? Barren. So that's the derived meaning into barren. Juruzan and sa'idan is land, but it's not just land simply. It's not just land, it's high land. So, and it's in the fa'il pattern. So it's a continuous connotation is also inbuilt into it, into the language itself. So into barren continuous highland sounds a bit odd, so I have translated into barren continuous plateau-like terrain. Now, why have I done that is because plateau, what is a plateau? Plateaus are not that fertile, you know. So once you cut off everything, the vegetation, everything, it becomes barren, that's fine. It becomes a wasteland sort of. And plateaus are not as fertile as the plains. So we know that. So what was the previous verse saying? The previous verse was essentially saying that whatever is on the earth is a test for you. Don't be distracted. Don't be deceived by that. This is a test for you, for the human beings. Rather, in Akhiru Zaman, Surah-Kahf is for Akhiru Zaman. Rather, if you are able to navigate through how you should channelize your life in Akhiru Zaman, then by the time this comes, it's talking about just prior to the Asa, just prior, at the time of Asa, just before the Qiyamah. So it's talking. So then, even if at that time this happens, for you there is no problem as such. For those who have wasted their life admiring the beauties of the world, it's a point of no recovery. So plateau-like terrain. Okay, one more thing why plateau-like terrain is the ideal way to translate it. It's first of all, it's not jittery, it's a smooth translation, but not just that. Plateaus are rich in minerals. But what will you do when there are no human beings on the earth? What will you do with those minerals? So that connotation is also sort of inbuilt into it. As I said, this verse follows from the last verse, and I've already explained that. We'll read this translation once more to sort of get a free flow running translation to make sense of what it is saying. saying, the message it is giving to us. وَإِنَّا لَجَائِلُونَ مَا عَلَيْهَا صَعِيدًا جُرُزًا. And indeed, we are certainly going to make whatever is on it into barren, continuous, plateau-like terrain. And one last thing, I have already explained it in the previous verse. Inna means indeed we, and Ja'iluna also contains we. It need not be repeated for the reasons I already explained in the previous verse. So that's it for this verse, and we'll continue with the next verse.